That's actually, it's interesting. It's probably the most pre-production discussion I've had in a while, just because here at school we don't really have as much time to prepare for projects. It's just the way it is. But I was so happy we finally got to go location scouting for something, which makes my job so much easier. So we went location scouting to Haley Rossi's house, which I've been to several times. However, it's nice to know once you're like have a specific vision in mind how you're going to utilize the space, even if you've been there before. So we did that and just kind of walked through like together. It was me, Nick, Brigitte, and Michael, who was DP and lighting and stuff like that. Um, so it was just really helpful for all of us to kind of talk together about how we were going to do it. And then we went to our location in Oceanside, which was a motel. Talked about how we were going to arrange the room that way. And then the stage I actually didn't get to go to, but that was okay because I just needed panels. I didn't really need to do much else. But yeah, so that was cool. Pre-production 2 was a lot of talking with Nick about plan A, plan B, plan C of budget-wise, because, you don't know what you're going to get. And my department's heavily dependent on budget. So we talked a lot about that, like, okay, if we can do exactly what we want to do, what does that look like? And if we get kind of what we want to do, what does that look like? So it was taking a list of items, like these are our A items, these are our B items, what are non-negotiables, basically, what we have to have. And so, yeah, it's a lot of talking about what, we can and can't do, basically, and then and sometimes too, though, it's even in you go through these things in pre-production. When I'm out shopping, because I guess shopping is technically my pre-production, I find these things that I didn't plan on putting in there, but like they work so well. Like especially, I know Daisy's house. There's this entrance where we have the mantle, and then we have all the things that are filling it. We talked about the mantle. We didn't talk about a ton of how it was gonna look. We did a version of it for the promo, but so I went shopping and I found this big framed poster of New York, and that's New York was obviously something that her character wanted to go to, and so I was like, okay, this works perfect. Didn't plan on putting it in there, but it worked. And then I also found these two theater masks. I forget, it's the tragedy and comedy masks, I guess. I don't know what they're called. That's bad, but yeah, I don't know what they're called, but I found those as well, and that was something that was really nice to also put on the mantle to kind of like call to, like, she really is into theater and all these other things. And then Nick and I were able to also kind of find more to her character by her way of photography, because there was a scene where she like takes a photo of Charlie, and we're like, oh, what if she's just really into cameras? Nothing that was ever written into the script, but so cameras were put on her mantle and stuff like that. So it was just like subtle things that we maybe didn't originally plan on, but just kind of like fell into place when you do pre-production shopping, for me, I guess. So yeah, the actors definitely appreciated like being able to build off the set decoration pieces, even if they're so minimal. Some people might not notice, but it helped them, and I think it definitely helped at least our crew to better understand, who these people are and where their stories are going. And so, like, the thing with Daisy and cameras, never ever written into the script except for the one time she takes a photo of Charlie. That's it. But we, as film students, have cameras, and we're like, oh, well, we have these, and we could totally use them as props, and it's something she could be into as well. So we had, just like I said, with the mantle, like, put a bunch of cameras up there, different types. Also, too, in her living room, we have this scrapbook photo book that she keeps negatives in, and there's a little scene in there where they take a look at those, and so it kind of just like helps develop her character, because even though I think they have these like conversations you may never hear on screen, but on set you could hear the actors talk about, just like ad lib about how like, oh, I'm really into photography and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, okay. Just them building their characters. And same thing with Charlie. When I had to do his apartment, it was like trying to figure out what he was into, Obviously acting and stuff like that, but we talked about getting him like a record player and, him being really into music. That's something you also see him with his headphones a lot. Which was written into the script, but bringing that even further into his room, you know, um, through the record player and stuff like that. And that's something also we talked about as well, that everything in Charlie's room would be something he'd probably get from his dad. Um, so it was gonna be a lot of older stuff and just, yeah. So it's the subtle things, the little details. Maybe if you watch it, you'll see those things. So yeah. So montage day was super easy for me because we were outside and nature does the decorating for me. So um, that was nice, and it was just kind of like little prop things that I brought, like a picnic basket or um, whatever, picnic blanket. So that was cool and just a nice relaxed day for me. Everyone else was a little crazy because we had to drive around, but I felt very calm and relaxed. And then let's see, at Charlie's apartment, which I think everyone is going to have that memory of the nose breaking. Had nothing to do with, okay, maybe it had a little bit to do with me. The lamp didn't break, but that's not my fault. It just didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, that was, I think, the memory everyone's probably going to take away from this. But I did really enjoy that set because there was a lot of coordination because we basically took out the entire room and replaced it with new things. So that was really interesting, just seeing everyone cycle through as kind of just a well-oiled machine, which was cool. Because it's not like we've practiced like that room before. It was just like in and out. Um, but yeah, I had a lot of people help me drag things out, put new things in. Lighting came in, a camera came in. It was just like it was quick. It had to get done. So that was pretty cool about that location. It was kind of stuffed just because the nature of the location had to be small. Um, but that was cool to see people work as well as they did. With Daisy's house, we had a lot more space, but we also were filming most of that. So I just remember people like clearing out, like, because we have this one shot that just goes through the entire house and it's like no one could be there. And so it was a matter of, that was interesting for me too, because I had to make sure that like I was watching camera, just like, okay, is there anything that I missed, like grabbing, because it's a long shot of the entire house. Because we set up on Thursday night, actually the whole house, the balcony and the entire house, and it was funny, and I feel bad, I apologize to Nick. We had one miscommunication on that, which was I thought he was just like wanted just a couple strings of lights here and there, just to kind of give some aesthetic. And he's like, no, I just want it like flooded with lights. And I was like, some reason we did not like communicate on that. I don't know, but it was fine. We still had some stuff left in our budget. We went and grabbed more lights from the store, and then we just like went to town, like hanging all the lights. Yeah, so basically, from talking to Nick, he had fought for the time to shoot at sunset, which is cool. Sunset's cool, but it doesn't really show off the lights that we put up that made it look so nice. Because when we had set it up the Thursday night before, we saw it at night and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And we're not going to get any shots of this. And so it was like kind of disappointing. And I don't know, I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna have to take this down, and people are only gonna see just like, it's still gonna be pretty. At sunset, it's gonna be great, but it's not gonna have those lights outside. So yeah, I was really excited to use wallpaper on this set, even though it was gonna be pretty minimal. But so I got this peel and stick wallpaper, as you see behind me, and we were shooting things as we usually do, out of order, um, just due to the nature of scheduling. And the last day, even though these were all done and nice, we were shooting a scene where they were in the middle of or they were just starting rehearsing for their performance. So they wanted the panels to look half to not done whatsoever. And so I was told to peel the wallpaper off of the panels, and I had an internal, crisis, but it was okay. Maybe it wasn't as internal as I thought, but so I took the wallpaper down, but I tried to take it down in the nicest way possible as to put it back up for future generations to use. I don't know, the panels were so boring before, and I was like, well, if I can make them better forever, why can't we keep them? So even though I had to like peel off the wallpaper, which was sad, I tried to put it back up, so the panels could be used for other things, I guess, if people wanted to use them, just because I think pretty panels are better than bland panels. So yeah, that was my little breakdown on the last day of set, but it was fine. I think they're back and they're good, and so I don't know, I'm happy with the wallpaper. Yeah, I didn't really have a connection to the story within like what the characters go through or whatever, because I'm not an actor, and I only did theater like once or twice. So but yeah, Nick had kind of mentioned the story to me and like had me read through several drafts of it before, so I was connected through it in that way, just because I've been through the story so long, from him writing it to pre-production to production, obviously, and then yeah, I think just too, because the story is not just about like a theater, it's about the relationship between people, and I think that's just something that's like universally relatable. So in that way, I connected to it. So